Good morning, people. Let me clarify something. My understanding of certain terms that we use. Now, for me, spirituality, nature, Jesus Christ, it is the same. I repeat this one more time. Nature, spirituality, and Jesus Christ are the same thing. There were a lot of people who made out of Jesus Christ, out of the idea or the person of Jesus Christ, a religion. They started wars. They wrote the Bible. So you need a lot of discernment to understand what is the spirit and what is religion. And I'm not doing religion. For me, when I'm reading the Bible, when I'm quoting the Bible, when I'm following God and His Son, Jesus Christ, this is spirit. This is living in the truth and the spirit. Now, this is also nature, and you can have other spiritual guides if you want. It can be a yogi, male or female. It can be someone who has lived long ago. It can be someone who is still alive. Doesn't matter. This can all be spiritual, all right? Okay. The term chosen one, God's chosen people, and the term empath, super empath, these terms overlap for me, and I don't like to use them, but I have to use them in lack of another way to call this. And these people are people who live in the spirit. Right? Yeah. These are people living in the spirit and in the truth. And we have a concept that we call believe. And we have a concept that we call knowledge. In today's world, people are convinced that knowledge is stronger or has a higher priority than belief. It has not always been that way, and you don't have to accept this. Knowledge is things you can prove and research in the three-dimensional world we live in. And you can kind of agree with other people about it, all right? Belief is a internal process, is a experience, so to say, a knowledge that only you have, an experience that only you have, but it's 100% authentic. So it is something that you actually experience, and you're sure that this is real. You just don't. It's just a very intimate. It's a private, and it can be a very intimate relation that you have to Jesus, to the spirit, to nature, and you cannot show it to anyone. You cannot share it. But it is possible to have a mystical, this is another overlapping term, mystical experience and spiritual experience. It's the same thing probably, right? And you can have an experience like that with other people at the same time, but not necessarily. No. Today we are living in a world that is shaped, or our perception of the world is governed by our mindset and how we understand the world, you know. And we're living in a dualistic world view. So we have this idea of good and evil, right and wrong, on and off. And this is a very narcissistic trait. The narcissists do splitting. For them everything is just thrill or no thrill, worth, not worth, dopamine, no dopamine, extraction, no extraction. And the economy we live in works in a very similar way. It always is supposed to grow, and the goal is to extract as much as possible. And there is free time and work time, and people have to fit in these patterns. And there is a lot of competition, which is also a narcissistic trait. So we're living in a world that has a lot of narcissistic features, and almost seemingly forgot that this is not the whole truth. See the black and white thinking, the splitting, the dualistic worldview. This is a kind of simplification, but as well, it doesn't make it more simple. It rather opens up a lot of opportunity for deception. Now, people who live in the spirit, they understand the colorful facets, nuances, and the multitude of emotional content, of experience, of truth. And they reject that hierarchy, that dualistic hierarchy of success, financial success, no financial success. And you know, Bob Marley, he would call that the rat race, the people doing the rat race, which means they accept the rules, the narcissistic rules of society and the hierarchy, but they are tricked by doing that, because this is in vain, this is inhuman. But it also, when we're talking about the quantum physical way to explain this phenomenon, the dualistic, three-dimensional world that we live in today, the society, is like the particle state. Whenever something is controlled, whenever something has to be counted and measured, we need a particle state. While for a human nature is actually wave state, which means a natural connection to environment. You know, you are part of nature, nature is part of you. There is no beginning, no end. There is not work time, free time. There is not even time. Yeah, there is just you live now. You know, and you're having an experience that is full of colors, and you cannot cut it down into good, bad, right, wrong, on, off, in these dualistic features. So this is what what a spiritual person knows. He sees the differences of these worlds, and he stepped out somehow out of this hierarchy of the dualistic worldview, and stops never competed probably with someone, and steps out of this competition, of this rat race. And the people who are only living in this dualistic world, they might be very offended by that. They don't understand it, and they will force these people, or try to force these people, to submit to the rat race again and to the hierarchy, because they think they are above them, they are over them, they are better, they are more successful, they have a higher rank, and they feel that a spiritual person is looking everyone straight in the eye on the same level, and they feel insulted by that and want to make the person feel that the person is below them. And a spiritual person, a mature spiritual person, will not accept this. And then suddenly, the person that wanted to teach the other person a lesson is getting a lesson. But this makes it worse. So it's almost as if a person that does not want to compete challenges competition in everyone around them. And this is the problem with all us chosen ones. They want to force us into these dualistic decisions and submissions, okay? They say, well, when you are thriving, when you are happy, detached from this world, you must be crazy. So you either break by accepting that you cannot be happy the way you live, or you are thriving and you are happy, and then they call you crazy and try to ostracize you, persecute you, hate you. And that's it for today. Hope I could clarify something.